and welcome to our wrist-friendly workout. So we're going to start on our knees and our forearms, and we're going to go into some cat-cow. So arching through our back and then going up into that cat position and curling. So as we come down into that cow position, think about gently relaxing the belly all the way down. And when we're up into that cat position, really pressing through the shoulders, so separating the shoulder blades and just flowing through that to start off with. Alright, so now we're going to go on to our tuck our toes and we're going to do our hover lifts. So lift our knees off and lower down. Just lifting up, not too high, still keeping the knees bent. And we're going to lift and lower. Think about lengthening from your pelvis all the way to the base of your skull. So try not to lift your head up too much. Alright, now we're going to get ready to stay up there and hold. That's it. Keep holding. And relaxing straight into it again. So lift and lower. That's it. So pressing through those forearms. Lifting a couple of centimeters off and then lower down. To make it harder, just only go 1 or 2 centimeters off the ground. And now we're holding. That's it. Keeping that position. So choose a spot to lift your knees to and hold that. And resting. Alright, so from here we're going to go into a downward dog and then coming out into our plank position. So pressing our shoulders through or our chest through, our legs as straight as we can, and then just leaning forward. It'll feel a little bit different because we're not on our hands. So shifting forward towards that plank position to rest and then pressing into our downward dog position. Now we're going to step down into that plank fully and we're going to go out, out, in with our feet. So you can alternate which one starts each time. That's it. In and out. Trying to keep our hips as stable as possible, engaging through our belly, nice and strong through our shoulders. And now we're going into our twist, side to side. That's it. If you can, touch your hip on the ground each time as you change sides. Focus on that breathing. If not, just go to where you feel comfortable, shifting side to side. And now we're going to hold. So staying in that plank position. All the muscles are working now. Trying not to hold our breath. That's it. We're nearly there. And resting. Good job. Alright, so from here now we're going to do single leg glute work. So extend one leg out and we're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. So with this one we're trying to keep our hips as level as we can and try not to open up through that hip joint too much. So try not to turn towards your leg that's extended. And now we're going to stay out there and pulse at that top range what you can. That's it. So lengthening all the way to your big toe and pulsing. That's it. Just little pulses here. Now we're going to bend the knee and extend up in that top position. So flex the foot as it comes towards your bum and then point your toes as it goes away. A little bit of brain training there. That's it, keeping it up. And we're going to pulse in that top range with the flex foot. That's it. like you're pushing the base of your foot to the sky. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And now we're going to go rainbows. So drawing the arch of the rainbow up and over. That's it. Same thing, keeping that leg as extended as you can. So think about squeezing your quad muscle all the way to your big toe. Everything's engaged. Going back and forth. And now from here, we're going to move it out to the side completely and just little lifts from here. Trying to not lean too much into the leg that's not working. It's more there for stability, so you'll feel it there. And resting. All right, now we're going to do the other side. So straight into our lift and lowers with the leg out straight behind us. Think about lengthening through your leg. Doesn't matter how high your leg is going, it's more about the length. Now we're going to pulse at that top range, keeping everything as straight as possible the whole time. So just little pulses, up, up, up. That's it. And now we're going to bend the knee, extend. As we bend the knee, you're flexing the foot towards your bum and then pointing your toes as you straighten your leg back out. Now trying to keep it lifted the whole time while we do this. And now we're going to pulse up to that top range with the flexed foot and bent knee. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Now we're going to get ready for our rainbows. Up and over, drawing the arch of a rainbow as big as you can without compromising your position too much. Think about a nice long leg and not shifting too much into the leg that's on the ground. All right, now we're going to go out to the side, lift and lower. That's it, just little lifts, doesn't have to be too much because we don't want to, same thing, we don't want to shift over too far. That's it. Almost there. Focus on the breathing and resting. Awesome work. Now we're going to turn around and we're going to do our rollbacks. So you can have your knees bent, is an easier option, or we're going to go out into the straight legs like I'm doing here. So we want to think about trying to keep curled for as long as possible. So at the start, I'm going to tuck my tailbone, curling down one vertebrae at a time, all the way out. And same thing, tuck my chin, use my abs to roll back up. So we're trying to go as slow as possible to think about each individual vertebrae working all the way down and then all the way up. If that's too challenging, just don't go all the way down to the ground. Next up, we have some single leg work. We're going to go up and down with our legs. So we're going to do 10 of each of these. So the other leg's on the ground. We're keeping this leg, the moving leg, as straight as possible. So think about pointing your toes, squeeze your quads, lifting and lowering. All right, now we're going to draw circles. So it doesn't have to be too big. I like to put my hands on my hips and then helps to remind me to engage my belly muscles. We're going to do 10 this direction. And then now we're going to go into the other direction. So keeping the legs straight the whole time, you want to think about drawing the circle from the hip joint rather than from your toes. Make sure that knee isn't bending while we're doing this. And now we're going out into froggy. So heel in, toes turned out. That's it. Focusing on that deep core engagement as the leg extends away from us. All right, and other side now. So up and down first. Nice gentle breathing while we're doing this. Try not to hold our breath once it gets more challenging. Same as before, think about lengthening through your leg all the way to your toes. Now we're going into our circles. So just pick a direction because we're going to be doing both. That's it. So we're doing 10 of these. And other direction now. And then our next one, our froggy. So pressing away, coming back in. So the lower that your leg is, the more challenging it is for this one. So just find a balance that works for you and that you don't feel it in your back. You should feel it in like your abdominals, your hip flexors and your quad area. All right, so if that was hard enough, we're going to stay doing that. Otherwise, this is the next level up with our other leg in tabletop. So lift and lower the same sequence, but the other leg is in tabletop. This makes it a lot harder because there's no stability from the non-working leg on the ground. So we're doing our lift and lowers to start off with. Now our circles. So these will feel a lot harder as your leg goes away from your body. So just nice and slow, or you might even have to make the circles a little bit smaller. And other direction now. Keeping the leg as straight as you can, squeezing the quad muscles, pointing your toes. And now into froggy, so heels in, toes turned out. Extending the leg away, bending, extend. All right, have a quick little rest because we're going to do our other side now. So our leg lifts first, so with that single leg straight, and our other leg, the non-working leg, in tabletop position. Lifting and lowering. All right, circles now. Remember, nice and slow. Find a range that works for you and then you don't feel like you're compromising too much through your back. And now other way. All right, next one, our last one of these, froggy. So heels in, toes turned out, bend the knee towards you, press it away. Bend the knee, press away. Keeping the other leg in tabletop. And resting there, good job. All right, so next we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We're gonna do some rolling. So with this one, we're just going to see if we can roll up like I'm doing here, just to that seated position. So think about curling through the spine, tucking the knees in towards you nice and close, rolling on that spine, trying to pull your knees towards you. All right, if that felt good, then we're gonna go a little bit further. We're gonna come up to that hip open. So we still do the roll, and then we're gonna come up and over the feet, hips extended at the top. So tuck the feet under, come onto the knees, press forward. And slowly coming back down to roll again. Awesome. Nice. Okay, So if that felt good, next one we're going to try go up into standing. So rolling back like we just did and stand all the way up. Coming back down. With this one, you'll be standing more on the outside of your ankles. Oh, my head's cut off. And if that doesn't feel good, just untuck your feet as you do it, but trying to practice being in all different positions and then slowly coming back down into that roll. All right, now we're going to come down onto our knees. And then we're going to be up onto that high kneeling position. So we're just going up and down to start off with. So just getting used to being in this position. Sometimes your feet or knees might not be used to it, and it can feel a little bit uncomfortable. So just going up and down. As we come up to that high kneeling, you're squeezing your glutes to open the hips up and then sitting back down. All right, if that feels good, then we're going to do a little bit harder. These are quad Nordics. So we're going to be in that high kneeling, leaning the body back, squeezing the quad muscles, so the front of your legs, to pull you back up. So with these ones, you don't actually have to go far back to feel it, because it is quite challenging. And also the key with these ones, you don't want to lose that hip extension. So you can see how my body is from my knee to my shoulders is staying as one as I go back and up. I don't want it to look like the exercise just before where I'm bending through the hips. All right, second set now. Have a rest if you need to, but we're going into our second set of quad Nordics. That's it, thinking about leaning back as a whole, squeezing everything to pull yourself back up to that center position. Arms out in front, or you can cross them over your chest if you need to. Whatever feels good for you. Squeezing the quad muscles to come back up. And challenge yourself, go back a little bit more if you can. Get those last few reps out. And resting. Awesome job, everyone. And we are all done.